Welcome back. One final point before we go tonight. 80 days until the midterm elections, and the left is freaking out. President Trump has had the most successful first 2 years in office that we have seen in ages. Unemployment is at record lows of below 4%. The GDP is growing at a rate greater than 4%. And even 25% of Black Americans approve of the job President Trump is doing, which is more than double what Black Americans thought of Trump when he was elected. So, of course, enter the hysterical fearmongers of the left. They cannot stand when Trump is doing good things for people, so they shriek and they cry and they tell us we are going to die. Actress Alyssa Milano posted this on Twitter this weekend, a photograph of herself dressed up like the Handmaid's Tale. She's pretending if Judge Brett Kavanaugh gets confirmed to the Supreme Court that all women will be forced to bear children against our will. So I have a message for Alyssa Milano tonight. I know you work in a world of make-believe in Hollywood, so let me tell you what it's like out here in the real world. Gilead is not real, and it never would be real. And before you tell me, well, 1984 isn't real either, the difference is liberals actually support policies like we saw in 1984. Nobody supports policies like The Handmaid's Tale. The Handmaid's Tale is a dystopian novel. In fact, I challenge you to show me one politician who supports policies like that. In the real world, here in America, as women, we are not oppressed. We are not forced to bear children. We are not forced to have sex with men just so they can impregnate us. You are wearing that ugly white bonnet because you chose to. You're wearing that red cape because you want to. Nobody forced you to make those hideous fashion choices. You did that to yourself. In America, we women can work and vote and drive and marry whomever we want. We can have babies or not have babies. We are protected under the law equally to men. Women in America have a right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I know, you said Brett Kavanaugh has tried to roll back women's rights, but we all know you're talking about abortion. What about the rights of the 500,000 unborn women who are aborted every year? Why don't you stand up for their rights? Brett Kavanaugh will. What about the 200,000 times a year women use firearms to defend ourselves against sexual abuse? Why don't you stand up for those women and their right to keep and bear arms? Brett Kavanaugh will. What about the 10 million American women who own businesses in our country? Why don't you stand up for them against an oppressive federal government that makes it hard to be a business owner? Brett Kavanaugh will. What about the women who own cake bakeries and florists and bed and breakfasts who are forced by the government to violate their religious beliefs and celebrate gay weddings, or else the government threatens to shut down their businesses? Why don't you stand up for those women? Brett Kavanaugh will. And that is my final point. You can reach me on Twitter at Liz_Wheeler. If you liked the show, please send me an email at oann.com/contact. In the meantime, catch us here tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern. And until then, have a good night.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One American News on YouTube. And call your cable provider and kindly demand that One American News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.